Hello, it's Martin and Arthur from Wisely Automotive. We are in a bit of a rush, but we are about to pick up a Tesla Model Y, so we will tell you all the details on the way there. So let's get started.
Okay, yeah.
We are now making our way out of central London, so let's address what this video is about. As you can tell from the title, we are going to be picking up two cars in the near future. The first one, which we are on the way to pick up now, is the Tesla Model Y. The reason for two cars is that Arthur wanted a new director's car and he first placed an order on the Taycan Cross Turismo
About 12 months ago.
but that got delayed slightly because of the whole COVID situation and the chip shortage. In the meantime, the Model Ys have started getting delivered in the UK, so we thought, well, you thought you would give both of them a shot and you will see which one you like better.
Yeah, I thought, well, the Taycan was meant to be quite a bit later than it actually has turned out to be. We'll be picking it up at the end of April, fingers crossed, but it was potentially going to be as late as sort of June, and in the meantime they opened up the order books for the Model Y, and actually because of the dog and everything, I thought, well, that could be actually a really good alternative, and obviously better range than the Taycan, so there's pros and cons to both, but this way round at least I can try both and decide which one's the long-term keeper. So.
Yeah, and what we will show you, or try to show you in this video, is the different experience when you are picking up the car. So one thing to still keep in mind is that the Model Y is about a 60 grand car, the Taycan is almost double that at about 105 grand. But Tesla has really gone down the sort of minimalist route. You turn up, you get the key, and off you go. Whereas with the Porsche, you most likely will get a more traditional handover experience.
You'd like to think so. We'll find out.
But we will see.
Yeah.
We have not advised any of, well, Tesla nor Porsche that we will be filming the handovers.
No.
So yeah, we will show you how it goes, and yeah, we will conclude when we get back.
Obviously, because they're not sort of perfectly back to back, we're currently 10th of March today.
Yeah.
10th of March.
11th.
11th of March. So there's a month or so in between. So I guess we'll cover all the Model Y stuff today, and then compare it with. We'll try and cover the same ground when we pick up the Taycan. But yeah, it's really interesting how Tesla have kind of gone about doing deliveries in the UK, because people seem to be, well, I think there's two camps. There's people who don't mind the whole minimalist, row 5, there's your car, see you later, and that's how we've heard it is. I think it depends slightly which centre you go to. We'll see what today's like, but I think some people spending 50, 60, 70 grand,
for the first time on a car, that's kind of sum on a car, yeah.
Exactly, and it can almost not be offensive, but it can be a real letdown to the whole thing. But you know, like I say, it's different kind of expectations. But I just wonder if Tesla are slightly missing a trick with the way they've kind of trimmed down the experience. So it'll be interesting to see. We're picking up from Bluewater, which is about, well, it depends where you are in London, but about 40 minutes from the Wisely showroom. So I guess a lot of Londoners will be picking up from there. I know some people have delivery. It wasn't an option for me. I don't know what determines it. Maybe if you're not near a centre. But I've seen some stuff on Facebook and on a few of the forums saying that Bluewater is a bit of an interesting experience, so we'll see. But I'm keeping my mind open, and to speak a bit about the backstory to where we're at now with and ordering and all that. So with Tesla, you literally, there's about 2-3 things you can change on the configurator.
Yeah, the color, wheels, interior color.
Yes, that's
and
true. Two choices.
And yeah, what kind of autopilot software you want, but yeah, you can unlock that later on if you want to.
That's it. And so you pay £100 reservation deposit, and then pretty much your next communication is a week before delivery. Whereas as a complete opposite experience with Porsche, I think I've had, I don't know, 20 plus emails with the sales advisor, and spent hours going through the spec and sort of recommendations, and should we, obviously it's not just 3 options, there's like 100, but it's a bit of a different, you really feel like you're involved in something special.
The one thing which we do like, I think all of us will agree, as a second-hand car dealer about Teslas, is that it makes recommending a spec or a trim level so much easier, because it's literally what kind of range do you need and what kind of power do you want, and you always know that electric seats are standard, the adaptive cruise is standard, LED lights are standard, and we don't need to drill into all the details and try to determine what the car has and try to value that in.
That's a really good point. And actually our first ever Taycan we bought, which was probably about a year and a half ago, and it didn't have heated seats. And I remember the day it got dropped off, and for about half an hour I was looking for the button and I just thought it's got to be somewhere, and in the end got home and the penny drops that it's an option, and that car didn't have it. So since then, and that's obviously that was a mistake on my part for not checking it, but that's gonna, that can's gonna get kicked down the road. Someone 2-3 owners down the line is gonna buy that car and also have that sigh when they realise that they've kind of assumed something. Whereas I agree with Tesla, it's very sort of clear and simple. And actually with the autopilot things, you've always got scope to add them.
Yeah.
Whereas, try and add a reversing camera, or, well, that's standard, but folding mirrors to a Taycan, it's probably not possible. Or if it is, it's going to cost a lot. And
the other thing which Porsche did, and they really went above and beyond when overcomplicating the configurator, is that I think that the standard spec changes based on which drivetrain you go for. So the turbo, obviously with it being a more expensive car, Porsche wanted to put more stuff in, but that means that if you look at a turbo and then you just drop down to the standard one, some of the things get removed which you may expect to stay, and it also means that the price difference between the different levels, you really have to factor in the other things and whether you want them. So
it's confusing. It really is confusing, and I think it's so easy to make mistakes. Also, the other thing with Porsche is, what's the list price for a basic 4S Cross Turismo?
Is it not like 90, something
right?
like that?
Yeah, exactly.
In the region.
But to make it, I guess, comparable with a Tesla, you've got to add 12, 13, 14,000 pounds of spec. That's I think that's pretty crazy, and there's room to
go beyond,
go way beyond. Carbon ceramics, rear wheel steer, which I regret not having picked now, but hey ho. We're going to focus mainly on the experience. Martin's going to do separate videos actually talking about the cars, and I think you've got lots of Model Y content you want to do with that car.
The one thing I would say is that given we are a small channel on YouTube, take advantage of it. If you want any questions answered, your comments are heard loud and clear. So given we will have the cars for a good while, it seems like we will be able to answer any questions you have and go really deep on some things which probably are not answered in other reviews. I just love how you use Waze and nothing else.
Yeah. What do you mean? It's the best.
I hate it.
Waze is absolutely the best.
The user interface, I'm sorry, looks like it was drawn by a child. It does.
It's just, if you live in London and you need to get somewhere
when you
reasonably
get
lost, on time, you use Waze. This isn't even meant to be in the footage, but I'm gonna force Martin to put in. Comment below what your favourite navigation system is.
Waze is not it. Apple Maps. I like Apple Maps.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's the way it speaks is very good.
I would use the BMW
over
system
Apple Maps
if it was working. Bevy's navigation isn't currently working. Actually, I don't want to talk about it. Forget that.
Yeah.
Just a little update. We're now on the M25. We're 12 minutes away. We're actually a little bit early. Our appointment is at 11:30, and our ETA is 10:59. Interestingly though, yesterday the first phone call I had from Tesla since ordering it, chasing payment, which I had made, but I used the number plate as the reference number instead of the order number, so I got told off for that. But anyway, they found it and all is well. But I asked just regarding timekeeping, is it the end of the world if we're half an hour early or late? And she sort of, the lady I was speaking with said, well, it's a bit like a doctor's appointment, so you really have to make sure you're on time, and if you're not, you might miss your collection slot. I just thought, wow, that's, I mean, fair enough, we're, of all people, we appreciate we appreciate customers being on time, but it's, I thought, wow, that's very strict. And from what I've heard or read online, the Bluewater experience is very much, it's a car park. You go, give your driving license, they verify it's you, and then you're pretty much told, yeah, row 4, your car's there. And so why does it matter so much if it's 11 o'clock or 11:30, if it's just sitting there waiting for me all day, and they're not even going to direct me to it? So that just surprised me a bit. But they're very
different.
They're very different. And
the deliveries in the UK started in sort of early February. There was a big kind of delivery event on the 16th.
Yeah, which I couldn't make. And if I was offered like the 17th for either day, a day either side, I probably would have made it, and it would have been fun to go see what they've done. But it was basically, that's your day. I think even that's your time. Maybe you could change the time. That was the only thing you could change. And if you don't reply to the message, you get reallocated to a whole new car. So I actually, the VIN number changed.
Really?
Yeah, and that's
why.
Well,
they need to move units.
Well, fair enough, but equally, you order this thing 5-6 months in advance, and then if you can't make it on the day they want you there. Now, interestingly, that collection event, I think there were a few of them around the country, weren't there? It wasn't just...
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I'm sure I saw that it wasn't just Southampton, which is where we were kind of assigned. Now, interestingly, that's where they come into the country.
Yeah, a bit of cost cutting
and
along the way.
I'm sure on the invoice there's like a £500-600 delivery fee, which involves getting the car to the dealer, and yet there was no offer of a refund for that. It was, hey, come pick it up from port where it's just got off the boat, and we'll put on an event. There'll be some cardboard cutouts of Elon, and so I thought a lot of people got a bit blindsided there, and we would have done it if I wasn't busy that day. But I thought that's a bit naughty. They should at least offer you some kind of refund. And I saw on Facebook, people were coming down from Newcastle, like getting cabs from Newcastle and stuff all the way to Southampton for this day, and I think one guy was trying to get his way out of a funeral because he really wanted to be there.
And you are calling me a Tesla fanboy, Arthur. Well,
you seem to be okay with this.
We need to revisit the title.
Well, anyway, I will try and keep him. Hey, I bought a Model Y. I like them. I do like them, but I just think they're a bit unorthodox in how they do some things.
And you also mentioned that the first call you got was chasing payment basically yesterday, right?
Yes.
All the messages before that, was it just automated messages or some human speaking to you?
The first message was the one offering the special event in Southampton. And the next one was, you'll be reassigned a car, and that was it. And then, so no human interaction at all. Yeah.
Their upcoming Model Y collection is at Bluewater Shopping Centre in the Lower Plaza car park, opposite the Tesla Superchargers.
Did it say upper?
I think lower.
No. Okay.
It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Find your car.
No, it's true. I mean, this bit is very much down to us having left
zero preparation.
Left it until 2 minutes ago to read the message. I think we have to go down.
This is right next to the Superchargers.
I think the Superchargers are inside. They're not like outdoors. Oh well, we've got half an hour to kill. So. I did just see a Model X shooting down here, so here we go. Oh, I need a drink. Oh, I can see lots of Teslas.
Oh, there's a sign.
Ah,
obviously.
there's the sign. Woo! There we go. That's the first. Is that the first sign,
Yes.
or did we miss them? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll put it down to our stupidity. Why are all the boots open? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That
I think we see why they do it
that
this way
kind of
now.
puts it into perspective. Okay.
Is that the next year's Wisely Automotive volume?
Wow. Okay.
With Bevy locked, we make our way through the car park by the superchargers to check in at the Tesla customer desk.
Great, so the only thing I need for yourself, scribble just in that box there.
Okay.
The white box, that's it. Yeah,
I haven't checked it yet though.
that's fine. So basically, if there is anything wrong with it,
Come back.
not necessarily come back. Best thing is on your, so this now acts like your app.
Yeah.
Just on service, book in the service appointment, put it down to delivery defect, and it gets sorted.
Okay.
We don't do anything here.
Cool.
There is your key card. Saying it is on row and upstairs, so just go up the stairs here.
Okay.
And it'll be probably above us about here. If it's not, it'll be down here. But as I say, I don't know if someone's updated that or not. So
All right. We'll go find
Okay.
it. And when will the app get updated?
should do it. How about now?
Okay. I might do that. I'll give it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. Lovely.
The signal here is not great, so the connection might not be that straight away.
Okay. Thank you. So, I didn't quite see what I signed, but I'm pretty sure the first sentence said I acknowledge that there's no defect. Well, interesting, because I don't acknowledge that there's no defect, but I think if I don't sign it, I don't get the key.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway. Row M, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know the number plate?
LWW. Oh yeah, it's
Is it like?
yeah, it's disappeared.
Oh, that's
because
a
I've
problem.
because I've got more than 8. It's now kind of gone to the end of the list, so I don't actually have access. What do you reckon? Should we try that one next? If
Yeah, I
if
think
you're
this
so
this
sure?
row. Yeah.
Oh, LWW.
Very good.
There it is. Either side of unpreparedness. Okay. Where do I start? The card key out because my app's not working. Gosh, it's a bit dirty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. I think. Well, no. Let's have a quick look around it first. I mean, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can barely fit, and you're about 60 kilos. I wouldn't want to be collecting that one. Look at that. Gosh, we got lucky with which one we got. That is exactly the same spec. That could have been nice. What's that? Coming off? No?
Quick polish should do, but
We'll see.
the new car.
Okay. It's a bit of dust under the PPF.
What's that?
That's a scratch.
Well, and that's a dim one. Is it? No,
No,
it's like
coming
it's
off.
like
Glue.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel that's glue. That's okay. I mean, it's
Not okay.
Is
but
it okay?
Yeah, this is very swirly. Like, all of this.
Well, I think we've got our flight link.
Yeah.
Wow, the swirl marks are just
Yeah.
insane. You think the colour was the right choice?
Yeah, it looks good. What do you think of the wheels in person?
Do you know what? They're less offensive than they were in all the photos, but I still think there's room for some kind of tasteful modification. Is this one scuffed though?
Oh,
I really don't have much room here, isn't it?
let's see. Do you think that's not just
That's
dirt?
tyre fitting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, check if we've got cables, I guess.
Yeah. Are you not in the boot?
I've checked the boot.
So you need to pop the front, please.
Let's do that. getting into R1 for the first time, and a little bit tight here. I mean, that's pretty crazy, and I don't want to ding this person's door as they already have some pretty crazy swell marks and scratches to deal with, so let's not give them any more headaches. I will squeeze it. Regretting that takeaway now. Okay. Oh, I'm in. There's Martin. Okay. 37% charge level. I guess that's not too bad. And because I've got more than 8 Teslas on my account, this one won't show up. So I am stuck with using the card key. Here we are. And what I think I'll do, just for now, is I'm just going to pull into this slightly larger space. Okay, fine. And we'll have a look at the front as well. Make sure we've got cables. There we go. And I've already looked at the boot, but yeah, so far so good. I think there's one tiny little mark which we're not gonna go too crazy about. I think, as you saw, compared to the car next to us, we've got off quite lightly. Tiny bit more light here as well. And yeah, really pleased with the color choice. I think I kind of wish I'd gone for black actually, but the grey's cool. You got everything?
Yeah, it's a different type G than the usual blue one.
Oh yeah. I wonder if it's also, if it's still 4 meters or if it's longer.
Yeah,
anyway.
UMC and the
UMC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. No more commando adapter. No, because that was only on the first gen.
Yeah.
So okay. Cool.
Okay.
Interesting.
Should we check the front as well?
Yeah, let's do that. Edit that bit out. I mean, it's pretty dark, so I can't see much. Nice. Does that rub off? Yeah. More dirt. What have you found? And you're good? Oh, right. To be fair, it's all wiping off, but, you know, even more so then, why wasn't it? Interesting place for someone to step. That will be that'll be cleaning the roof, I guess.
So what's the plan? Do we just drive off now?
Well, I'm going to speak to them about trying to get it on the app, because it's hard enough calling them, so I will. There's a human I can speak with, and then I guess we go recover Bevy, and then head back to London, and then check it out under
Proper lights, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. That's
Good. Calibration in progress,
Okay.
and it's sort of self-calibrating the cameras now, so it won't let you engage autopilot, but like
Until
when the
that's
circle completes,
got
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So.
So does that mean that if we replace a windscreen, does it need to go to a specialist to calibrate the cameras, or will they self-calibrate?
Oh, I see. Yeah, because with previously we've always had this issue that they have to go back to Tesla to be calibrated. But if it's, I think it might be are you sure it's calibrating the same thing?
Probably not, because like it can see, it can see something,
away,
yeah. No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
No. Chill is the right mode for anything other than a performance.
No.
Yeah.
If you still do kickdown, it will not give you full power.
Yeah, but it's just the way. It's just the way the throttle kind of responds and how the car behaves. It's a lot more mellow. It does feel.
Someone's old.
Yeah, maybe. It does feel quite stiff.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not.
It's very close to the performance minus we have, don't you think?
Yeah, I like the driving position. It feels much more semi-command than the Model 3s. Let's park it next to Bevy, see how large it is. I just can't get over. So it's not just this one floor. There's like 2 floors of it. It's just insane. And do you know what? Having seen it, okay, I kind of understand the whole be here at 11:30, don't be late, etc. They're going through a lot of volume, and so kind of understandable, I guess. Okay. Oh, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and look, that, you know, that sticker residue.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
There is also a lot of talk online about the tires on practically all Teslas being overinflated from the factory. So before driving off, we decided to check the pressures on all 4 corners. Tesla recommends 42 psi all round, but we get values of 48.5 and 49 on the front, plus 48 and 48.5 in the back. Given they all seem to be consistently off, it would suggest that that's the way they are intentionally let out from the factory. Not sure whether for transport or any other particular reason. Either way, it could be one of the factors contributing to the firm ride quality.
That's the glue again. Cool, okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's see how they look side by side.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, the i3 is tiny in comparison, but the height is very similar.
I think it's a good, like, I know I've only done 100, 200 meters, but it's a good size for UK. Like in a Model X, you always feel like liability, whereas this felt right.
With as many things covered as possible, that's Arthur off in the Model Y, and I will catch up with him in Bevy to see what he thinks of the ride back in the showroom. Hello.
How did you get here first?
I used Apple Maps.
I thought you went via Calais.
So, that's both of us back. Bevy in the corner and Arthur's new Model Y. Obviously, as you can see, this is the UK, so it started absolutely pouring, so there's not much of a point in going into the condition in detail, and that will be a separate video. But Arthur has noticed a rattle along the way, so we will see how we approach that and how it will be rectified. Other than that, the next clip you will see will be probably us going to Porsche in a month's time, but thanks to the magic of editing, should be no longer than 2 seconds for you. See you then. So you join us about 2 months after we got the Model Y. We have been enjoying the Model Y so far. You have been driving it almost as a daily. And we are now on our way to Porsche South London to pick up the Taycan Cross Turismo. There has been a bit of a delay to it.
Yeah, so originally it was meant to arrive, I think, sort of early April, and I think it was actually ready kind of early to mid-May, but I delayed it by about a week or 2. So yeah, I think at their end, probably a delay of about 4 or 5 weeks, I think, and that was down to, obviously there's been a lot of delays due to the semiconductor shortage. A lot of Porsche parts are manufactured in Ukraine, and I think most recently what affected my car wasn't so much any of those things, it was the transport from Germany being sort of a problem, because they're not producing half as many cars as they usually do, so they don't want to send ships, I guess, without full capacity or even half capacity. So they're essentially bundling cars up and waiting for them to be produced and then transporting them. So my car was, I think, built roughly when we thought it would, but then it was waiting on transport, or at least that's what I was told.
And I think that's a good transition into the communication difference between Tesla and Porsche. So with Tesla, we did not really hear much from them until it was time to get the payment done.
Yeah.
What about Porsche?
So very much of a different approach, and I think it will be different branch to branch. And one thing I've realized in the last few weeks is with Tesla, wherever you are, you're dealing with Tesla. You're dealing with the same call center. You're dealing with the same kind of sales support team. Whereas with Porsche, it's somewhat down to the caliber of your dealer. This Porsche South London are run by Jardine Group. Others are run by other chains, and quality varies. But yeah, as far as communication goes, I would imagine most Porsche OPC centres would have a similar level of communication, and that's good in that. As in, it's a good level of communication in that we constantly had updates. There was an issue with the spec. Do you remember a few months ago?
And I think before we move on to that, in terms of the configuration process, how much was it done online, and how did we kind of get the exact spec we wanted over to Porsche?
Yeah, so with Porsche, I mean, I certainly spent days thinking it through and choosing things and ticking them and unticking them, and the sales advisor's been really helpful in sort of getting it just right. But essentially, it's done online. You get a code every time you make a change. You get a new code, and you can just ping that code across to them, or you can I think they've got a way of picking it up in your portal. So yeah, pretty swish and enjoyable. It depends how you look at it. If you're very undecisive, it can also become a pain. But generally speaking, it's enjoyable to be able to really tailor a car. And I don't know if I told you, but I logged in a few weeks ago just by chance, and they give you a photo of your car going down the production line.
Once it's painted in the
I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe they use the same photo of a black Taycan for every person who's bought a black Taycan, but I don't know, I think it probably is the car. It's quite easy to set up. It'll be a GoPro with some software, and really makes you think why others can't do the same. But I think, I mean, you'll know more about it with Tesla. Even though you choose your colour and stuff, you're not actually ordering your own car.
Yes, you are being matched to what has already been produced, and most likely sometimes it's already in transport or just waiting somewhere in the UK. And that's the reason why it's not very easy to predict the delivery times with Tesla, and sometimes Teslas there is now a good chance that you may actually get the car early if it's something which is already on the way and it has been produced.
So that side of it is very different to Tesla, and if you're used to that, then you will be disappointed buying a Tesla, I think.
So now let's move on to the spec change. So we wanted to have the LED matrix headlights.
Yes.
And because of the chip shortage, those were not available.
Correct.
And they let us know roughly when?
It was about, I think, February or March this year, and it was, I think the car was just about to go into production, so only just missed out on it from what I understand. But that's when I found out, and then we decided to put that money towards, because you get a refund, but did the high beam assist stay?
I think the high beam assist stays.
So it's like we got that for free almost, even though we've lost the main kind of functionality of ticking that box.
Yes, so with the matrix is not going to be there, but it's going to dip. It's going to switch to dipped beam whenever it detects other cars.
You still get that feature. But broadly speaking, it was about the same price as the active cruise control, which, having spent a bit more time in Teslas the last few months, I've decided I can't really live without. So I decided to put that on, and I think it was literally changed within a week of the car going into production. I was told it was done as a bit of a kind of, I think what I've been told is that it's not something that usually would be done so late in the proceedings, but because it was because of the unexpected change with the headlights, it's something they managed to kind of put through. But I was quite impressed by that. But go on.
But with the headlights, if you absolutely want the matrix headlights, either because of the looks or the functionality, I believe the turbo and up still get them, and they are standard on that drivetrain.
I don't know if they're standard, but I think they still allow. So I'm guessing the factory's trickling out those parts, so they keep them for
the higher margin
the
cars.
higher margin cars, exactly, to please those customers. But the people at the bottom of the Taycan chain are not given that choice.
Lastly, the differences in the collection process. You have already picked up a Taycan. Previously, it was the sedan or the coupe or whatever they call it.
Yes.
And now we kind of know what to expect. So, just like with Tesla, we had to. You got a time slot, and we made a booking, right?
Yeah,
There's a bit more flexibility.
Yeah, so a lot more flexibility and a lot more kind of personal touch with it. So I think we were originally meant to pick up on Monday, and then due to something going on in the showroom, I asked if that can be changed to Thursday, which is today, which was not a problem at all. I can only imagine if I'd done that with Tesla, that would have been, we've reallocated your car to someone else, see you in September. So to that extent, it's very easy and kind of normal. It just feels like dealing with a normal company. Also worth noting, we were meant to be there at 1 o'clock and it's now 1:30, so we'll be there at 2. And I did drop Andy a message saying we'll be more like 2, and he said that's fine. So again, I think with Bluewater we were we were running early, but we were worried.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to be on time.
Yeah, because otherwise, again, see you in September. So yeah, very different approach.
Do you know whether we are getting any kind of handover guide or anything like that? Because with the Tesla, we were literally given the keys.
Yeah.
And
what key?
Well, the cards. And we kind of know what we are doing with Teslas, and it does give you a quick tutorial on the screen. But we will see whether Porsche goes a bit further.
Yeah, I think that bit, 2 months on, I've had time to sort of think about it, and obviously there'll be people out there who say, that's all I need, I want to learn things myself. But really I think we always said the point of this video and this idea was just to show people who maybe are a bit more traditional or used to buying 50 grand plus cars and having it really be a treat of the year or something they look forward to just lower their expectations a bit, because it's, as you saw, more a case of floor 2, aisle 5, good luck finding it. And this is going to be, I hope, unless things have changed in the last 12 months at Porsche, I hope is going to be a lot different and more special.
I suppose one disclaimer to make for people not watching in the UK is that in terms of COVID, we are pretty much back to normal, so that shouldn't really affect things anymore at all.
Last year, Porsche took we're taking it very seriously. We were masked up. There was a lot of sort of extra sanitization, etc., going on. But it will be interesting to see. I imagine that there's no mask policy now, or at least I hope so, because I haven't bought one. But we're pretty much back to normal. One other remark is I've put a private plate on the Porsche, and that's there from day one. So it's being registered with that private plate. It's just a case of sending them the certificate in advance, and I don't have to waste time doing that thereafter, call the insurance company and get it amended. It can just be done from the beginning, which again, people who are into private plates, they want to collect their new car already on the plate, not with the Tesla plate.
The silver lining of that, though, is that it gave us a chance to get rid of the hideous plinth on the Tesla.
That is true. That said, unless things have changed since last year, I have a sneaky suspicion Porsche South London use metal plates, which I personally don't like. I'm a fan of, as you know, acrylic plates. I just think they look a little smarter, but we'll see. So I might end up changing them anyway. Also, the choice of a green flash or no green flash. I hope if I see a green flash, I'll be very, very upset.
Don't you like the green propaganda?
I can't say I'm a fan, and in this case it would clash with the red brake calipers, which are the one regret on the spec. I couldn't justify it for, I think it was £800, and when it comes to option ticking and box ticking, I'm happy to pay big money for options if I'm gaining something.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm gaining black paint where there otherwise would be red paint.
Yeah.
You know, it's in terms of manufacture time, cost, it's exactly the same. So to charge £800, almost out of principle, I decided to not tick that box, and of course now I regret it, and that's why it's £800. But we'll see. Maybe it'll look the part.
I still think it's going to be good.
One can't complain about any spec Taycan, so yeah, to be getting funny about the caliper colour is a bit much.
We're about 10 minutes out now. Unlike with Tesla, we know where we are going, so we will catch up with you at Porsche. Any neatly presented car showroom lends itself well to some beauty shots of the vehicles on display, and a Porsche showroom especially. So we asked whether it would be okay to capture a few moments of the handover on camera, and they were happy to oblige. The experience was really lovely and lined up with Arthur's last one here. It makes you feel as if you are their only customer. Quite a contrast to finding your car among rows of cars parked across multiple floors in a dark car park. That said, there were a few minor things which Arthur noticed and will touch on now.
Just leaving Porsche now, first drive in the new car, and it's absolutely lovely. Haven't done over 10 miles an hour yet, but one of the main reasons I wanted another one, having briefly had one last year, is just the suspension is so smooth, and I must say that's the one thing that I'm not quite getting on with the Model Y. It's a lovely car, and it's half the value of this, so it's a different, completely different price point, but it is quite harsh around town, whereas these Porsches, even the Cayenne that I had before this, and that was on coil springs, but somehow it just glides over bumps and potholes and the kind of stuff you get around London. This video is not about the car, it's not about the Model Y, it's about the buying experience and just how it differs between the two manufacturers. And I think as far as the Porsche collection went, it was a lovely experience, really nice, all the usual irrelevant, but for a lot of people really relevant things, such as being offered a coffee, refreshments, all that kind of stuff. Very comprehensive handover. Obviously we've spent some time in Taycans before, so there was a little bit less to say there, but I'm sure if I needed it I could have been there for another hour, and Andy would have showed me through everything, and that's quite key, I think. And I don't think the price point, it should be an excuse there for the Tesla. I think especially, I'm thinking, someone like my dad, to just be thrown a key and expected to know how to even put a car, not just any car, but a car with a completely different drivetrain to what he's used to, his first EV, to just be told, yep, there it is, and good luck getting it started. That would be quite intimidating. So I think sometimes it's useful having that handover experience and being shown, or even being given the opportunity to ask questions. I know there's the argument of, oh, I just want to learn it all on my own. Some people don't, and it's nice to have the choice. Here, if I wanted, I could have been in and out within 10 minutes, but I also could have stayed longer. So that's that. But like I say, different price point. So it really is a case of keeping it balanced. Condition-wise, the car's spot on. Couldn't find a mark on it. There is a slight bit of I think polish on one of the bits of plastic on the near side front wheel arch, which was the first thing I spotted based on where the car was parked and when the cover came off. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but it's just polish and it will wipe off with the right product. So that's not important. And but you know, should be kind of kept in the mix, or, you know, should be considered in this comparison. The plate, I did request not to have the green flash, and it has the green flash. Human error, and one of those things, it happens. They've already offered to make new ones up, so, you know, as far as sorting that issue out, it's been sorted. But yeah, just a bit of a shame. And yeah, in many ways, actually, I guess you can kind of understand Tesla's almost wholesale approach. Well, if we don't give you the choice, there's one less thing to go wrong. So yeah, that was an unfortunate one. Other than that, went exactly as I was expecting, and I feel really, you know, valued as a customer, I guess. Also, I've left with 100% charge, so I didn't request that, but I imagine you would get that from pretty much any manufacturer other than Tesla. I can't speak for the Vauxhalls and the Peugeots, but I'm pretty sure it should be expected to pick up an EV at 100%. I know new ICE cars are delivered with half a tank or whatever's on the invoice, sometimes £20, but this is a little bit different, and I think manufacturers need to understand that in a lot of cases, well, firstly, people have travelled to pick their car up, but also it's their first EV, and we deal with it day to day. You know, the question is always asked, oh, will the car be fully charged because I've got to get to North London or, you know, nearby, but you understand that people are new to the experience and there is anxiety, and just have it 100% charged, it's £10 of electricity, but it makes a big difference. And I think especially with Tesla, their handover centres sometimes are nowhere near where you live, and that can stress people out when they arrive. Also, just not even knowing what percent the car is going to be on until they get to it. That said, the benefit of a Tesla, pretty much as soon as you're on the road, the Tesla supercharger network fires into action, and you can use those. Now, with things changing, obviously the Taycan can utilise some of those, 15 at the moment here in the UK, but of all the non-Tesla EVs, it's pretty much the worst designed for Tesla chargers here in the UK, because the CCS charge port is on the near side front, on the passenger front, so it's in some cases I think it's probably going to be impossible to use a Tesla supercharger, even if I wanted to.
Let me take over Arthur now, and before we forget, just for completeness, let's check the tire pressures on the Porsche as well. This pump is a bit less accurate than the other gauge, but there's about 36 psi in both front tires and about 38 psi in both rear ones, which is consistently just a smidge under the recommended values by Porsche. One final remark based on something we discussed earlier is that when you are buying a Tesla, you are buying directly from the manufacturer, and that means that in case of any issues, there is for the most part a single phone number and a single email address to use to get in touch with Tesla. Ultimately, there is still a human on the other end, and all of us can have a particularly bad day, but by and large, everybody should be trained to the same standard, meaning you should get a consistent experience wherever you are located. I'm mentioning this because the rattle from the back of our Model Y, which is further discussed in a separate video which we made concerning just the build quality of that particular example, already got sorted by Tesla, and in fact the whole process was very smooth. Arthur reported the problem in the Tesla app, he got a service slot, dropped the car off at a Tesla service center car park, did not need to exchange keys or anything like that because Tesla does have remote access to their vehicles, so the technicians took the car in, fixed the fault, and Arthur returned to a solid feeling car later that day. This is one of those areas which may feel a bit soulless to customers who are used to a more hands-on experience and human contact, but in terms of convenience, this is about as slick as it gets. With Porsche, the level of service you get may differ slightly from dealership to dealership, based on the franchise they are operated under. With this particular Taycan example, there hasn't really been anything wrong, so we couldn't really test it out. But Arthur did have an issue in the past with his Porsche Cayenne. Despite being very happy with the sales team at Porsche Centre South London and would happily buy a Porsche from them again, the email service request to look at his Cayenne went totally unnoticed, so he ended up sending the exact message to a different dealership where he got the reply within 2 hours, and the Cayenne had to undergo a £7,000 engine out of warranty repair. So just throwing the scenario into the mix, because there definitely are benefits to the way Tesla does things. In fact, I think that's a great point to conclude on. Both manufacturers can learn from each other, and at the end of the day, this is why competition is great, as the customer always wins. If you're buying a Taycan, you get the full traditional high-end car experience. With Tesla, things are a bit different, but if you keep your expectations right, you are getting a fantastic product in the end. I actually wanted to have both cars, the Taycan and the Model Y, behind me for the conclusion of this video, but Arthur is currently away on a trip in France, and given range and charging were of the highest priority, you can see for yourself which car he ended up taking. So, that's it. At this point the video is probably over an hour long, so thank you very much for watching, hope you found it informative, and see you in the next one.